Hello and welcome to A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. And hopefully we're going to have a wonderful show. And before we start with some callers, what we're going to do? I've got a clock here and it's just chiming. Sorry. So you can never when you're doing things live, you can never account for everything, can you? But anyway, so I'm going to do a little sort of chat before I start, and it's really I like to sort of talk about a sort of spiritual sort of point of view. And one of the things that came forward to me this week was one of my guides spoke to me about something that he did in his life, and how the ripple effects sort of came about for all. So, and what he was saying is that when you do a good deed, and you can think it's just so small or so little, but you never really know how the impact of that good deed will be, perhaps a year later or 5 years later or 10 years later. And it's something that, when we think of sort of religious doctrine in every sort of religion, we always think about how just sort of how it is so important to be loving towards each other, and sort of think about, our brothers and sisters, and be kind. And sometimes when we think of people in our world, like charity workers or doctors that work 80 hours a week, or nurses or teachers, people that are giving, and people that volunteer as well, people that are giving to society, and then in the realms of charity work, there's all those people that raise money and sort of work tirelessly to raise money. And I know that a lot of people sort of think, I'd love to go and work for a charity, but you always know that when you do work for a charity, you're never really going to sort of earn the sort of money that perhaps if you went into, say, banking or finance or something like that. And so it's I just do feel that it is a vocation. It is a spiritual vocation when people take on those jobs that perhaps aren't paying the sort of the salaries that you could get elsewhere, but is giving to society and giving to people. And if we all did, say, a good deed once a week, or a good deed once a day, or smiled at somebody when we're walking down the street, or just sort of being helpful to somebody, then if we all did a little bit of that, can you imagine what the world we would live in? We would live in this world where kindness is all around us, that people smile and are happy, and that there's love for each other. And ultimately, that would lead to peace. If everybody is sort of behaving like that. And, I also think that, many people are influenced by other people's actions. So for instance, particularly children, if they see sort of adults behaving in such a loving way, they will grow up to be the same and be sort of loving and supportive. And so we can all sort of, almost be, we can all play a part in creating peace in this world. And because every bit of kindness, every bit of loving actions has a ripple effect and goes out into the world and shows like a beacon of light that is beaconing from our world. That's not a word, is it? Beaconing. I think my English is getting bad. Sorry, but is sort of. I've just been told a good word to be said was beaming or shining. So we'll go with that. That's very good. So yes. So we can be sort of that beacon and shine that light into the world. And I do think that is the way. Just dropped my microphone. That is the way that I think that we can create peace. It has to start. And one of the things that I was always told by my guides is that one of the the starting point, this very, very starting point for peace in our world is to start from our individual hearts. And so if we have love in our heart and spread it in the world, then that can only make a difference. And if we give a bit of love every day, then that would be a wonderful place to live in, a wonderful world to live in. So that's my little spiritual talk for today. But I understand that we have a caller that is waiting to speak, and her name is Tony in Ashtabula, Ohio. Are you there, Tony?
Yes, I am.
Hello. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Ashtabula. Is that
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Oh, good. So I am a medium, and I can connect to loved ones in the spirit world, or I can go to my guides, and we can give you some guidance about what's going on in your life. Is there a particular way that you would like me to work?
Yeah, I would like some guidance and, in my life, and, and I'd like to basically see if my father's still,
So your father, did you say he's in spirit or?
Yes, and so is my brother.
And so is your brother, and some guidance.
Yes.
Right. Well, the first person that's coming forward is your brother. He's just come straight in, right in front of me, and he's so I know and I feel that your father is here too. But it's interesting because they're not standing by each other's side. Would you understand why that would be? I've got one on one side and one on the other side. And generally that happens when they don't quite get on. Or it may be that I've got this great big computer with lighting in front of me and they haven't got any room to stand anywhere. Yeah, it might be just that, Tony. But I just thought I would just double check, because often when they're standing as different sides, it can be that. But they haven't told me that specifically. But I know that your brother he's very excited and jumping up and down, and he's I feel that he's saying to me, he's got some amazing memories of his life with you, and he feels that and he's saying to me that at times you were like his best friend. And when I say at times, I could be the whole time, but I don't know. But I just get that feeling that there was this real close, strong bond and a strong relationship that you had with your brother. And he is so excited to be able to speak to you, because he's telling me that he hasn't had a proper chance to do this. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yes, it does make sense to me very much. So.
He may have tried to get through to you through another medium or something, and perhaps wasn't able to be clear, or the link wasn't clear. And there's many reasons why that can be. But he's making me feel like this is his real first chance, he's saying. And he's over excited, like you would. It's almost like he would not believe how excited he is. And he keeps on showing me this lake. And I feel like where there's water, it's like there's water.
Yes,
and I feel like there's a memory of the two of you spending time there. And I feel like this was somewhere where you used to go a lot. And I'm being drawn to the summer holidays at this place. Would that make sense to you?
Yes, when we were kids, we would go to the beach all the time.
Right, yeah. And I feel that he would, because he's showing me, it's almost like he's picking you up and throwing you in the air and you landing in the water. I feel like he could have
they would do that all the time.
Quite a lot of sort of like rough play, and he's remembering that as he's sort of connecting to me.
Oh my gosh!
But he's
I forgot all about that.
He's good fun, isn't he?
All about that. Oh yeah, she was so funny when we were kids. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, and also he would like to cheat whenever you were playing games as well, but he would laugh
Yes.
about it and sort of and find it incredibly sort of funny, and there was this sort of like a bit of a teasing side to him. um,
Yes.
um, and is your mother still alive?
Yeah, I don't get along with her.
Right, because he's drawing my attention to your mother, and he's okay, he's. I feel like he wants to talk about your mother. Is that somewhere you'd like to go, or shall I bypass that subject?
Can we skip that subject?
Pardon?
Can we skip that one? Because I really don't
Well,
want to talk about her because
okay,
her
all
and
right.
I really want to do counseling with her, and she really does not want to do that.
No, no. And I feel like he wanted to sort of he's bringing her up because he's telling me that he knows about it's like he knows about the problems that you have, and um
And it
he's
goes
also
back
saying,
to my dad.
pardon?
It goes back to when her and my it goes back to my childhood after her and my dad separated and divorced, and how she lied to me the whole entire time and took my dad away from me.
Yeah. Um and she but I feel that right, I'm trying to get him to sort of move on to a different sort of area because he's making me sort of stick there. So I'm telling him that we need to sort of talk about something else. But
Okay.
he's saying to me that there's been some problems with work with yourself. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I have a hard time holding down a job because of physical elements.
Because okay, because what he was saying is it's stop start. That's what he was saying. I've got a sort of it's like a stop start sort of situation, and you've been it's almost like you've been searching for this ideal job, but this ideal job hasn't come around yet. But you know the sort of job
Correct.
that you want, and you keep on looking, and it hasn't sort of come round, to your to you, and it's almost like you need, for some reason, you need flexibility, and I feel like you need flexibility with the hours, and I and
Yes.
I and he's saying to me that he wants to help guide you to the right job because he's telling me that there is that right job there for you, but you just haven't got it yet. And I feel like he's going to be guiding you to that, which is sort of great. He really wants to help you, and it's like he wants to be. He's been a little bit more serious now, whereas before he was all sort of laughing and sort of happy and
Right.
excited. Um, and I feel also he feels guilty that he has passed because he feels that he's left you in a situation that has caused you a great deal of difficulty in your life. Um, and I feel like it's because you haven't got that ally and that friend with you as you go forward in your life. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
And I and he's telling me that it's taken a long time for you to. I almost feel like you haven't properly gone through all of the grief because
No, I haven't.
he makes me feel like you're still in grief and you're still hurt by his loss. Um,
Yes,
and I feel like it's been some time as well since he's passed as well. It's not like it's very recent. Does that make sense to you?
actually, that is correct. It's been almost 2 years.
Sorry?
It's been almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in June.
Right. Okay. Because he's making me feel like I just know that you're still in grief. I just know that you're still hurting from his loss because I feel also that he was. your brother is a bit like a father, a brother, a husband, a friend, all rolled into one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's making me feel like you didn't just lose one person when you lost him. And he
Mm-hmm.
does feel guilty that he is sort of on the other side and not there to support you, because he feels that you really do need to have a lot of support at the moment. And he's also saying to me, I feel like has there been an issue with a relationship around you?
Yes.
I feel like a relationship that either isn't working or hasn't worked, because I'm just getting that feeling that you're particularly at the moment feeling alone, and feeling like you're you're sort of you're in need of somebody that you love around you, and he
Correct.
wants to assure you that he is around you, and hasn't sort of, hasn't left you, and he's telling me, he said, would you believe I've spoken to God? And um, I almost feel with him that he sort of can't believe that he's saying this to you. um, that he's spoken, like he wouldn't sort of have sort of really embraced this idea, but he says that he's spoken to God, and God has given him permission to be around you and assist you in your life, and almost be like your guide for the rest of your life. And he's also
Oh.
saying that he will be there when you eventually come to the end of your life and to cross over. He's going to be there for you.
Oh.
I hope that helps. And I know I've got another caller waiting, so I'm going to have to leave it there. But I know I've got your father here as well. And just before I go, I just want to check
Can I
in
ask one question?
very quickly.
Okay. Does my dad have a will?
Okay, Dad, have you got a will? He's telling me that he never wrote one out.
Son of a gun. Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Okay. Yeah, it's just there's issues going on with the family because I'm trying to get his truck and everything, and they're fighting me on it.
Yeah. I'm being told that he always meant to, but he never got round to it, and he wishes that he had, because it's caused. He's telling me it's caused all sorts of problems, and he wishes that he feels that if he had have made a will, it would have been more smoother. But he's telling me he knows I've got to go because I've got another caller waiting. He's just telling me that he loves you, and he's sorry that you're going through all of this difficulty around you and in your family. Thank you very much for calling, and I'm going to go to my next caller. Thank you. Find me on Facebook if you need to speak to me. Right. I have Alida in Gainesville, Georgia. Hello, is Alida there?
Speaking.
Hello, and how are you today?
Oh,
just about.
Good. How
just
are you?
About. I'm very good. So I am a medium, and my name is Gail Moffat, and I can either connect to loved ones in spirit, or I can seek guidance from my guides as to sort of, to help you. Is there a particular way that you would like me to work?
It doesn't matter.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'm being drawn to Mum. Is Mum in spirit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I'm being drawn to Mum as I'm talking to you, and I feel okay. She's just come straight forward and is in front of me, and she's she's saying that a bit like the last caller, she's saying that she's really excited to be here, and she says to me that she made a promise to you when before she left, before she passed, and she wants you to know that she is keeping her promise and is trying very hard to look after you. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So she made a promise before she passed, and I feel that this promise is about. She says, "I just wanted to let my daughter know that I made this promise that I would do my utmost to help her in her life and always be there, and I am doing that. I am around her, and I'm always there." And she's saying that she has the permission to do this because she feels that it's so important to be in your life. She says that you regularly talk to her, and sort of, I feel like you're saying, "Oh, Mum, I wish you were here," or "Mum, what about this and what about that?" I feel like you have this sort of dialogue or conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
And she says that sometimes you have this big conversation at a photograph, and you're holding the photograph, and sometimes you get cross, and sometimes you're tearful, and sometimes you're happy, but you always have this dialogue, either outward or to the photograph. Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And your mum is she finds it amusing the way you are, and in fact amusing, but she's glad you're like that. She feels that she's telling me that she's your confidant. I feel that you would have gone to her and sort of spoke about sort of situations and problems in your life, and she was the person that was always there for you, and this has been sort of quite a difficulty for you, not having the confidant in your life.
Right.
And she says that's why you've replaced her with her photograph. and you
Right.
use the photograph as the sort of the confidant.
Right.
She's telling me you get sort of are you in a relationship? Do you have a husband? I feel like you do.
No.
Okay, then would you understand that you are frustrated with somebody, and I feel like this is a male?
Yeah.
Okay, because I mistook that for being a husband, but I feel like there's a male there that you get very frustrated, and or you could just kick him up the backside. I feel very sort of frustrated, and your mum is sort of laughing because she sees it, and she says she completely understands why you're so frustrated. She said, "I just don't think I could put up with that. How he is. He's just, it's just like, I can't get my finger on why he is frustrating, but I know this person is frustrating." Would I be right in saying that there's laziness there?
Yes.
Or
no, that's fine. That's true. That's all true.
Not considering your feelings and not considering you, I feel, is the problem. And this is where you get frustrated. It's like you put all the energy and effort into this relationship, and he doesn't. He's sort of a little bit selfish, I think.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. And I feel that you would really like to be a little bit more adventurous in life and do more adventurous things. And you feel a little bit curtailed, like you're held back a little. And I feel that this is another source of frustration because of this person not really being fair to you. I feel that you aren't able to have the freedom that you would like. And I do feel that you would like to go off and visit, say, somebody else that you know, or some friends, or go and do things. and you always have to sort of think, I can't because of this situation, and I'm getting all of this information from your mum. Your mum is telling me this, and she's saying to me that I feel that she wouldn't have tolerated it as much as you have. She sort of admires the way that you tolerate this situation, because I don't think she would have done. She wouldn't have had the patience. Is what she's saying. But she's saying to me that she wants you first and foremost to know that she's around you in your life, and I think through this reading she's proved that. She's shown you that she's around in your life, and she wants to prove that to you and show you that she's there, and she wants to say, see, I'm keeping my promise. I haven't let you down. I will always be there. And that is the promise that she is still continuing to do as she moves on, in life. How does that all sound?
I would like to know what's going to go on with my love life, because I really don't have one.
Right, we've got 30 seconds, so I may not be able to answer this. I feel that the problem that you've got is that you're too much in a little bit of a corner in your life where you're not able to be free and get out and about. And what I'm being told is that this is blocking you. Your circumstances are blocking you.